And I just realized that everyone who's in the audience has been on with us this entire time while I was figuring that out. That is funny. But welcome, everybody, to the Internship Success Series hosted by the Aksarben Foundation and Merrick Brtek at the Greater Omaha Chamber. We're excited to have you all here today with a couple of folks from the Aksarben team talking about internships and how to build relationships while in that internship as you get nearing the close of it, which is amazing at this point. But Merrick, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, I am Merrick Brtek, and I'm the Director of Workforce Development at the Greater Omaha Chamber.
Thank you for being here. And then Megan.
I'm Megan Bell. I'm the Operations and Project Manager at Aksarben Foundation.
Thank you. Litzy.
Hi, I am actually a new intern at the Aksarben Foundation, and my name is Litzy Morales.
Awesome. Well, Merrick's going to kick us off with the first question, and then we'll just go from there.
Perfect. This one is for Litzy. When you first started your internship, what were your thoughts on networking, and how has your view changed through your experiences as an intern?
Yeah, so I would say my first big internship was at Union Pacific. Going in, it was very different. You know, I'm from a small town, Lexington, Nebraska, going into corporate America at headquarters at Union Pacific. So I think what my thought was like, okay, like as long as I'm working really hard, my efforts are going to show and like people are going to come to me, I'm going to connect and grow connections through that. Which, yes, to a certain degree, that is true. I would say I did build connections through the work that I was doing, through my work ethic, but it didn't take long for me to realize that I was the one who was supposed to be going out there trying to make these initiatives, like asking, like, hey, can I shadow this person, or can I, maybe connect with this person to learn more about their job, trying to learn more about the marketing floor, and then just realizing, like, hey, I need to put myself out there. Like, no one's going to come up to me, especially as an intern. It's really easy to get overlooked sometimes. So it's like you need to make that bold step to go out there and start talking to people. And also, I would say, like, I don't even want to think back to the first times I started networking with people, because I'm like, what did those conversations even look like? Because I realize now it's not really about giving just those transactional questions like, oh, what do you like about your job? Or what do you do? Like, no, like, make it intentional. Try to learn more about the person. Yes, learn about the company, learn about the job, but like realize that they're people too. So like learn about them. They have a background, they have a story that you can learn about. So take advantage of that. That usually starts a great conversation.
That's awesome. And I know, Megan, I have the next question for you. But before we get to that, let's see, how many internships have you had so far?
Yeah, so technically I'm an intern at the University of Nebraska at Omaha with the Office of Research and Creative Activity. And then after that, I had my big internship for a year at Union Pacific on the marketing floor. So technically two, and then this would be my third one.
That's awesome. So you're getting some good variety with like different industries and organization types as well. That's really great. Okay. So Megan, as Litzy's manager, what did you notice about how she's effectively networking? And I'm not sure, I'm sure you've worked with interns before, like in your other positions or student teachers as a teacher, but when you see those who are effectively networking versus those who aren't.
Yeah, so I think it depends on also if you're in the corporate world, nonprofit, education, it comes differently. But I see like two types of networking. There's always one that sticks within the team and networks. And then there's some that go beyond the team and go in the community and network. So like Litzy was saying, I'm sure at one of hers, she was networking inside the team, and then she realized she has to go outside of her team and work on that. So those who I feel like don't focus on networking outside of their team kind of miss that bigger picture of making those more connections and learning about different opportunities and things like that. And I think just changing that mindset of I have to network into I'm here to learn and connect. You don't need like that perfect pitch like she was talking about or like a specific ask, but just more of a willingness to learn from others. And then just remembering just networking is like a long-term game. People making those connections with different people. They might be your mentor moving forward. You might work with them. So just networking, think of it in a different aspect, I would say.
And Merrick, I know you've worked with a lot of interns as well, or you're definitely working with them at the chamber. What's some feedback you have?
Um, I There's a lot going on. So first I was thinking through a little bit about what Litzy was saying in terms of you know, going outside of your space and that no one's coming to interns. So my advice to the employers would be to make sure you are actively engaging your interns and going to them. Yes, interns should be going out and engaging and trying to get to know others in the office, but it should also be part of their experience that you're helping them engage with each other and with other people intentionally within the organization. So that would be a piece of advice just for the employers to make sure that the interns are getting that exposure because they may not know how to do that yet. They're learning and growing. So support your interns in that way. But in terms of for the intern going out and networking, I would agree with Litzy, just getting to know the team. Don't be shy. The team wants you to be successful. I mean, you are a part of the team just as much as everybody else. So you have every right to engage with everybody, just like a typical member of the team. So that would be my thought process is don't see yourself as this separate entity from the rest of the team, engage just like everybody else. They're excited to have you there. Truly, as we're like gearing up and getting ready for interns to come to our office, we're having meetings and we're stoked about having you come to our space and engage with us and spend time on our teams. So just know that going into it as well.
That's really great. And on to that point, Litzy, whenever you want to grab coffee or lunch, let me know. I'm like always just on to my next task. Like Megan and I were talking the other day, and I rarely know what day it is. I'm just like, when's my next meeting? But I definitely can make time. So let me know anytime. That would be fun.
Sounds great.
Oh, love it. Look at that, networking. So the next question is for Litzy. Can you share a moment when you stepped out of your comfort zone to connect with someone professionally and what came from it?
Yeah, so I'll go back to my Union Pacific internship. My boss, Beth Buza, she was someone that I did admire, like just watching her lead meetings, watching her take action when certain issues came to play. Like I did try to take note of all those things, and I, as a management and leadership concentrate at UNO, like I wanted to learn more about like being a manager, being a leader. I had vice presidency roles within my sorority, so also I was navigating some issues and I'm like, I don't know how to go about this. I don't know what steps to take. Even within my like job that I was doing there, I was like, I'm kind of lost. And I was like, who can I go to that has like, that I know will give me some good advice. So, and I think like me and Beth at the time maybe didn't have, like, I didn't feel, I was like really nervous to go up to her and just start asking like, hey, I need some advice here. Like being vulnerable and kind of sharing my weaknesses, because especially starting, you kind of want to seem like I know what I'm doing. Like, you know, like you can count on me to get this done. So even just being vulnerable and be like, hey, I don't know how to do this, or I need advice for this. But I'm really glad that I ended up reaching out to her. I'm like, hey, do you have 30 minutes or 15 minutes? Like, I just want to talk. And just having a genuine conversation with her, she kind of helped me a lot through understanding things that were, you know, confusing me in my sorority within my management or leadership roles within my own scope of my job. I learned about my own like kind of growth style, my management style. And then just building that trust with her, I got so much guidance. Like I said, I learned about myself. It helped me grow professionally. It helped me grow as a person. And to this day, like a lot of things that she taught me then, I still kind of carry to heart.
I love that you used your time with her to not just ask about work things, but also to support you outside of that. I would encourage all interns to use that because the people around you at your work have been through it. We've done all kinds of different things. We can support you in a lot of different ways. And so like several of our interns have actually, I'm our intern liaison at our office. And so I mentor all of our interns and they come to me with questions like that of, hey, in my fraternity, we're doing XYZ. Do you have any idea of something that could be an event venue that we could use for this? Or have you done anything like this before, Merrick? And do you know how to get this started? Or one person is interested in exploring a career type that we actually don't have at our office. And they were like, do you have a connection of somebody that I could talk to because I'm going to be taking the LSAT? And I need some resources there. And so they'll just come to me and seek different types of resources, even if it's not specific to their role. So I love that you did that. And I would encourage other interns as well, if they're curious about different things, to just be vulnerable, as you said, and go out and seek that extra advice because we're here to help.
Agreed. Agreed. And like you said, a lot of us have really extensive networks and people love to help. They're just really often not asked. So awesome. So Megan, from the employer side, how do employers create opportunities to help start to build those meaningful internal relationships specifically?
Yeah, I think going back to what Merrick was saying about as an employer at your organization, like it's our responsibility to make that internship meaningful for those coming in. So not just inviting them to different meetings and discussions to get that experience, but also getting to know them personally so that they have those deeper questions that they can ask. And once you build that relationship, I feel like the space opens up even more for us as a team and the chats go even further. So I think just providing those comfortable settings and we become more confident within each other and we build deeper relationships, but then also it helps within the internal team. So we know how each other works. And I think it makes it okay for interns. They're not sure when it's okay to connect with others. So whenever we make that space open for them, it makes them more comfortable of understanding when it's okay to go that route with other employers. And then we build that platform for opening that space for informal connections, I feel like.
And even like I'm thinking from a physical like space perspective, our office is kind of small, but if you feel disconnected from the people in the offices, it can still feel like there's a big disconnect, right? And
Yeah.
so yeah, I agree that just kind of building those relationships so that you can like pop in someone's office really quick and say, hey, I have a quick question for you. And it doesn't feel like, oh, should I ask? You know?
Exactly.
So
Exactly. Yeah.
okay, that makes sense.
Awesome. So let's talk mentorship. What has mentorship looked like in your experience, and how do you recommend interns approach a potential mentor without it feeling forced? And this is for both Litzy and Megan.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was asking if you want to take the lead.
Oh yeah, I can go. For me, going back to actually what I was just mentioning, one of the most valuable things I think is that relationship building. Building that foundation is more of like a long-term, I feel like, career growth. And I feel like mentorship is a key part of that. So early in my career, I felt like I connected with a leader who didn't really give me advice, but I watched her and she showed me a lot of how to invest in people and stay connected and meet them on different levels, even if you're not at their experience level or things like that. She just really bonded with everybody, no matter where they were at. And it wasn't just formally, it was informally, it was personally, it was work related. So just building that relationship status, I think, is really, really important. Yeah, I think just long term, that's really important.
Yeah, and then I guess what mentorship has looked at for me, like at Union, I would say like I've always had people, I had a couple people who would tell me like, hey, if you ever have a question, and they would say like work related, not work related, like my door's open, always open. And I feel like at the beginning, hearing that, I was like, okay, great, thank you. Like I have that resource. But I was very, and I would say like I'm an extroverted person, but even then I was like really shy to be like, oh, I'm gonna go ask them this question. So really like just feel confident in yourself to use your resources, especially when they've already opened that door for you. You're not having to go out and look for that mentor. Like that mentor has already stepped up and told you like, hey, I'm here to help you. So don't feel shy. Like they offer the help, take advantage of it. They're here to help you grow. So just taking those opportunities to ask as many questions as I can, putting time on their calendar. I would say that's what mentorship has looked like at my internship so far.
Yeah, and Lindsay, I love that you said that it's a two-way street, right? So you know that you have to step into it as well. So someone saying, yep, my door's open is one thing, but you have to actually knock on the door, walk through the door, ask the question, like take the step. So it takes both sides. Merrick, any additional thoughts on that?
I agree with everything in terms of the relationship building, opening that door, like as a mentor, creating a space that feels safe to engage in, that, you know, anytime our interns come forward with anything to me, they know that there's going to be no judgment, there's no dumb questions, there's nothing really off the table. They know that it's a safe space and that I'm going to support them when they enter the room. I think that's really important from the mentor side, because like Litzy said, you know, the intern may be really nervous to be coming to talk to you about this. So recognizing that and creating a space that makes them feel a little bit more at ease when they come forward with those questions. And really making it clear, like, I actively go check on our interns. Like, I'll pop over to their area as well. I don't just wait for them to come to me. Yes, they do come over to my area, but I'll go find them in the office and say, how are things going outside of just our regular mentor meetings? So just creating a space where they know that they're cared for, that you really mean it. It's not just a statement you're putting out there of, yep, I'm here if you need me, that it really, you're showcasing that. So that's my advice to those that are mentoring and supporting the interns.
Love it. Love it. So let's see, as far as when you're getting ready to have those professional conversations, you've shared a few examples already, but what are some other ways you prepared for conversations with leaders that you'll be meeting with?
I feel like the one thing that always I try to think about, especially now that I've kind of had those conversations already with, you know, leaders within the marketing and sales floor of Union Pacific, like the assistant vice president of marketing. I know going into that conversation with him, I was like freaking myself out. I'm like, oh my gosh, like if I don't do good, I'm gonna get fired, whatnot, whatnot. But I think one thing that I always tell myself is they're human too. Like just as much as I get nervous, they get nervous. Probably not as nervous, but you know, meeting someone new is always like sometimes a little nerve-wracking. So just remembering like they're human too, just like they're a person, I'm a person, like just like I have emotions, they have emotions. I think from the intern side of being someone who's like intern entry level coming into a new space, you sometimes look at the leaders as like way up here, like they're way out of your scope. You could never have a conversation with them that was even interesting. So I think just acknowledging like that's not true. You guys can have those conversations. Like I said, recognize like just like you're nervous, they're nervous. I feel like that usually makes me feel better. And then also going with, like I said before, being intentional. Like don't just go in there. You can go in there and just see what happens, but especially when you're trying to get something out of it, like making sure you're being intentional, whether that's like if you're going to talk to someone outside of your company, you know, maybe writing 2 questions that you have about the company, doing some research on the background of the company, looking at, you know, some of their core values and asking like, hey, what do you think about that? Just to have something, some background on them, that's usually helpful too.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that's good. I had a follow on, but I lost it. But this is good. It'll come back. It'll come back to me.
What kind of came to my mind when you were talking through that, Litzy, is like they're human too, and you know, they're having a lot of feelings too. I think coming back again to the mentor side, and then also this is just good for interns to hear and know, like we are experiencing challenges too on the mentor side. We're stressed too, or there's things that make us anxious as well. And I think showcasing that, like I tell my intern, I adore my intern, she's the best, shout out Mary. But I had a big presentation I was doing earlier this week, and when I walked in, she goes, how's your week? And I go, actually, I'm a little bit nervous. I have to engage with XYZ and I have to put on this presentation, and you know, I'm feeling imposter syndrome about that. And like we'll just have really open conversations about how we're both feeling in the day. And I think that then, you know, I feel like me opening up and letting her know that I'm feeling nervous or I'm feeling stressed about this, or just engaging with her like that creates an environment for her to feel like she can share those things too, but also know that it's not a bad thing to feel that way. You know, if she comes in one day feeling imposter syndrome or nervous about something, like I feel that way too, and I share that with her when I'm feeling that way. So that's an advice just to the people that are leading or engaging with the interns. Like be honest with them about what you're experiencing and going through. Humanize it a bit more so they know they're not alone when they're experiencing those feelings.
Yes, excellent point. I remember what I was going to say, and it's that in an internship, just remember that the company is truly making an investment in you. And yes, we do that with full-time employees, contractors as well, but there's something really special about an internship. So you're there to learn, absorb as much as you can, and that the leadership team wants you to be successful. So just something to keep in mind as well.
To Megan, what helps early career professionals stand out positively in a short-term role?
Yeah, I think everything that Litzy was just mentioning is a perfect example of that. Consistency and flexibility is always everything as well. And I think most importantly, just professionalism matters. How you communicate, how you carry yourself, how you respond to challenges, I think is the biggest thing that really stands out to me. And how you problem solve with those challenges as well.
Yeah, this is fun. How about you, Merrick? What do you think?
So the challenge element I would agree with, but I also think like when one of the things that I'm always so impressed with our interns is we'll bring them new projects and they're always just yes, like even if they don't quite know how to do it, they're excited to figure out how to do it. And so like just that yes button of, oh, I'm excited to try that. That always impresses me because I'm never going to bring an intern something that I think is going to be setting them up for failure. So I think that's important, first of all. But second, just the excitement and the readiness and willingness to learn and engage in something new that always impresses me. And being able to just keep yourself on task and moving, because often for my role, I'm running around all the time. I'm all over the place. And my intern is super curious. She asks questions all the time, but she's also very good at keeping herself on task and moving projects forward. And so, like you said, the consistency, the reliability, she's able to be independent in her role, but is also very curious and asks a lot of questions. So it's a good combination of both, and that has like deeply impressed me. So those are some of the things that have stood out to me, I would say.
I love that. And by the way, this is great feedback for any level of professional, just FYI. So when I think about what stands out to me, I haven't had many interns at all. I don't think, Litzy, I think you're the first one I've worked with indirectly, so welcome again. But yeah, for me, I think what stands out for sure is professionalism, asking questions. If you're not sure, definitely speak up when you don't know, because many of us, and I'll just speak for myself, we often are just like, yeah, you can read what's in my mind a little bit. I think you got it. And so, and I won't ask unless you let me know you have questions. So that's something that I, as a manager, am continuing to work on. But I would also say that if you're stuck, just ask. We understand that, sometimes a little bit more clarity is needed. So I think that's super huge. Cool. So this is the final question for both of you. What are some ways that interns can maintain relationships after their internship ends, especially if they're hoping to return later or be referred for another role? And Litzy, this is great for you. I know you've had previous internships, so you can speak to this, but for both of you and Merrick as well.
Yeah, I mean, I can start with this one. So I would say like when I concluded my internship at Union Pacific, I was like, yeah, I would definitely want to keep my relationships that I was able to build. I don't want those to just end. So I think this is one thing I will use my sorority as an example. Like I'm always telling them, like, you have to have a LinkedIn, like create a LinkedIn profile. Like, I don't care, like just make one. And then when you meet someone, ask them for their LinkedIn. That's one cool way to stay connected, but also to just make that impact of like, hey, I was here. Write a handwritten note, like to your managers, to your bosses. Like, I don't even know how many handwritten notes people actually get anymore. So I know when I left Union Pacific, I wrote a letter to my previous boss, the vice president of marketing, assistant vice president of marketing, everyone who ever had an impact on my internship throughout, whether it was in the beginning or towards the end. I made sure that I wrote them a letter, made sure it was personable, that I really like showcased my gratitude for what they helped me through. And it just acknowledging like, hey, I appreciate you. You really helped me. Like, just know like the stuff that you did for me while I was in my internship is going to impact my career in the future. And like, I thank you for that. And then just like, it was great getting to know your personality, getting to know how you are as a person, all the memories, all the laughs that we had, and just making it really personable. I know when it came to writing my letters, I'm like, do I write one for the vice president of marketing? Like, I love Kenny and everything. I'm like, but it was very also nerve-wracking to be like, I'm going to go deliver this letter to the vice president of marketing right now, which he actually wasn't in his office. So I think that kind of took the edge off. But, I was like, yes, I am going to write a letter because he is someone that I did look up to in his management style. In his letter, I know I acknowledge like just the culture that he brought to the floor, making it very, very fun, very alive, and also like hey, you just even saying like good morning to all the interns when he walks by, like that makes us feel involved as well. So just acknowledging those things, like, hey, keep doing that because future interns are going to appreciate that too.
I love that. I think you're so good at building those relationships, whether it's exec level or intern level or in between. So good job on that. For me, I think helping others grow is something I'm deeply passionate about. So I genuinely want to stay connected with my first intern here, Litzy, after her time with us. So for me, it's about like not only what she's contributed to the organization during her internship, but also about just like her continued growth. And I want to be able to provide resources if she were to reach out and ask for that, provide connections, and even a reference if she's needing that too. So just always having that open communication that we're already building together and keeping that even post internship.
I would agree that it's all about the relationship building up front. If you want to maintain it later, you have to make sure that it's strong before the internship ends. I love that you wrote a note to all of those individuals. We had an intern do that last summer that I supported. She left me a note, and I absolutely love it. But also just interns, if you're out and about and you see individuals that you used to work with, go up and approach them. Anytime an intern comes up to me that like we've had before, I lose it. I get so excited. It makes me so happy to see them. And so like go up and say hi because it's like they're probably just excited to see you again. But yes, I think it's all about the foundation that you build throughout that internship to then be able to continue that support and continue like the longevity will be there a little bit stronger if you've built a solid relationship up front. But as Megan said, I feel like most individuals that are supporting interns and working with interns really do want to help you grow and succeed. And so just know that even after your internship, don't be shy to reach out to those individuals and say, hey, I'm working on this. Would you be willing to like look over my resume? Or would you be willing to look through what I'm submitting for this potential other internship or position or anything like that? Like I'm honored when somebody reaches out and asks me to continue to support them like that. And it makes me proud to see that they're growing in that way. So just, to continue the vulnerability, continue reaching out on the intern side. But I do think that a big portion of how do you continue to do it or refer it later, the hoping to return, all of those elements, you have to build that strong foundation up front.
Absolutely. Great conversation. So networking, step one, building relationships. That's a long game. So thank you again, Litzy and Megan, for joining us today. And to everyone else, we'll see you next time and we'll share some resources as well. But take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.